All right, the Marlins. Marlins, I got to give credit, at least so far, Major League Baseball has not backpedaled here. When you play sports and you are testing players every day, people are going to test positive. People are going to test positive. It is a certainty. And when people test positive, you can't panic and completely reverse course. It's not March anymore. Every athlete who has tested positive in college, every athlete so far who is a pro and has tested positive has had similar results to what most under 35-year-olds have. They either never knew they had this virus or they experience it as a very mild infection. And it does not derail them at all. That doesn't mean that anecdotally somebody you know or somebody you heard of who was 30 and got the virus didn't have a bad outcome. That happens when you have a huge statistical sample size. But what you have to consider is the totality of the evidence, not random anecdotes. And the totality of the evidence reflects that you're going to be fine, much like the totality of the evidence reflects that you're going to be fine if you get the flu and you are young and healthy. Doesn't mean you might not die. Under 24 years old, you are far more likely to die of the flu than you are of the coronavirus. It's why all schools should be back open. It's why the CDC itself said all schools should be back open. It's why 67,000 pediatricians said schools should be back open. The fact that you want to believe otherwise is about your fear, not the facts. And allowing fear and emotion to govern is why Twitter has fallen apart and why our national discourse on social media doesn't work, because people want to completely be terrified at all time. Okay? And so you look at the data, and this is not remotely complicated. Over 99.5% of all infected people, regardless of age, are fine. Okay? Maybe up to 99.9% based on the CDC's own data. Shutting down the economy and risking all the lives through shutting down our economy is a far more substantial long-range danger than this virus is. There are no substantial concerns here in the long-range nature of this virus. And seeing everybody embrace fear porn all the time is frankly sad. And the Coronabro community, and who I have labeled the king of the Coronabros, Darren Ravel, aka Karen Ravel, has been making the same bad arguments for months now about the fact that sports can't happen in the age of the coronavirus. And there are a lot of people out there that are in media that further propagate these stories. They never share all of the negative tests, but every time there is a positive test, they run straight to social media and they spread it virally. They are so afraid that every time there's a negative story, they can't wait to share it. My argument's pretty straightforward. Just look at the actual data. Don't allow yourself to be overtaken by the fear porn. You can stay inside your house and never leave again. That's your right as an American. But the rest of us, people who are actually using our brains and looking at the data, we want to get back to work. We want to get back to school. We want to get back to living our normal lives. Let us do that. And if you feel that you can't do it because you're too afraid, you never have to leave your house again. You can stay inside and you can bury yourself under the covers. And if you're rich enough, you don't have to work for the rest of your life. You don't ever have to go outside again. But the idea that that is in some way living a life is one of the craziest things I have ever seen. And the number of people in the media who are rooting for sports not to be back, even if they claim they're not doing that. When you only share negativity, your feed tells on you. Ultimately, you see what you believe based on what you share. And if you are sharing 99% fear porn, as many people in the media are, whatever you claim is not actually true. You are doing the opposite of what you claim, and you may not even realize it. You may not even realize what your constant sharing of fear porn looks like to reasonable people in the country who want to get back to sports. But the minute anything goes wrong with the Marlins, boom, it's out there. The minute any college football team or football player tests positive, boom, it's out there. The minute there's an NBA player testing positive, oh, you know whose feed is going to be the first one to share it. But when the NHL doesn't have a single case, or when the MLS doesn't have a single case, or when the NBA doesn't have a single case, those same people don't ever share those stories. They're always looking for the worst because they believe in the worst on this virus they have bought in to the fear porn.